Welcome everybody to another On the Table, and this time we're not exactly on my table because we're on my kitchen counter. Now my table is it's kind of cluttered with a bunch of other random projects that I've had going on for a little bit. A lot of ones that are on hold and waiting for parts. So we're here where I cook a lot of my meals, and do I have a tasty treat? I had this G&P Skull frog. It's been experiencing a lot of issues since my friends got it, and I have it half taken apart already, but I did rebuild the gearbox and it's having electrical issues, so we're going to delve deep into that and we're going to have a good time. We're going to get this thing shooting today, hopefully. Now, one of the things I do hate about GMPs is these freaking motor connectors. They got the little screw type ones, and you lose the fucking screws all the time. They changed these out for the standard little clip-on ones that go on the motor, so let's get cracking. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is, after all this is figured out, is I'm going to lengthen the wires. Because that Dean's connector sits precariously shallow in the buffer tube, so Juan. Two. Three. Four. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, the trigger pin. Six. I did try and quick fix that. This right here, where my soldering skills have been lacking because I haven't been doing it very often, and I kind of got a really shitty soldering iron, so that's just something I can fix along the line. Why? I hate these. They're fucking useless and they're proprietary to GMP. If you ever want to upgrade it, well, you better buy a fucking GMP motor, that's for sure. Now, when I put this gearbox back together, the spring was fighting me tooth and nail. Well, all the springs actually, so let's hope this one doesn't take out anybody in the process, because it almost took out one of my friends that were watching me the last time. I guarantee you, as soon as I pop this last screw off, this whole gearbox shell is just going to pop off, because this spring guide isn't very good. And I don't think this is a stock cylinder, so it's not being held in by the gearbox either. You know, I really appreciate quick change springs. Yep, there it all goes. Nobody was hurt in the making of this video. Alright, so I don't see any breaks in the wiring. As a matter of fact, I think I might plug a battery in and see what happens. I don't recommend testing your gun like this, but if you want to make sure you got some sort of spark going on, yeah. So the way I do it, I connect the battery. I connect these two. Now these two will spark because it's positive, negative. So you got some sort of small screwdriver in there. Nothing. Complete the circuit. Nothing. Now I know for a fact this battery works because I use it to turn another gun over. So there's a break in the wire somewhere. Now, airsoft circuitry is actually pretty simple, but I think I'm just going to replace all the wires anyway, so now that I'm still raping parts from my friend's Classic Armory SR25, we have his wiring I made up for him. It's not the best, but it's what I got on hand, and I know it works because the wiring wasn't what broke in his gun. So we're gonna rate this for a couple more parts. Probably take the trigger assembly if it's still good and keep that, and use the wires. Now I did a little better job of soldering this compared to that, but that was just a quick fix to see if it would actually work. So I'm just gonna go ahead and disassemble the whole thing because it's just easier this way. I really like this kit from Walmart. It's like a $7 kit and you get all these bits. It's perfect for doing this kind of stuff. Oops, well, that landed where I wanted to go. I was going to put it anyways. Yeah, the trigger looks good, but I'm not in the business of chasing wires, so we're just gonna replace the wires. Like I said, I know the Classic Army SR25's wires work. I know they're long enough because it feeds through a full length stock, so we're just gonna go ahead and take these wires off and trash them. Especially this god awful thing. I'm fucking embarrassed that I even did that. So I said screw it. I was gonna put the whole thing in there. It's just easier. I don't feel like messing with it right now. So, see if this fits and makes a connection. Yes, sir. That's good. Here we go. Now you want to make sure this shit slides good. You want to make sure this top end isn't interfering with anything like the tappet plate or any springs. Alright. Put our spring back on. Get that seated. Look at that. Ooh. We got tension, boys. Alright. So, when you're wiring this kind of stuff, rule of thumb is the longest wire is always under because it's got to fit under the motor. In case you didn't know that. I guess some of you guys are watching and just making fun of me the whole time because I fuck everything up, but sometimes these things work. And when they work, I feel good about myself. The good thing about this old wiring too is that it's already fucking all it's all bendy and stuff. I'm gonna fix that. Wow, this tape sucks. I also suck a lot at taping things too, so please bear with me. Oh my god. Main reason why I am taping this is because one, you get a fucking short, it's gonna ruin your battery. And we all like to run lipos and all that jazz, and when the lipo puffs and expands in a tight area, it could rupture. Oh my god. Just gonna tape it off bit by bit. So now we got wiring long enough to protrude out the stock. Let's grease this thing real quick. Ugh. Wish I had some rubber gloves, but what I normally do is I grease where the gears would be making contact with each other and where the gears would be making contact with other things such as the bushings and the gearbox. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you don't need a lot. If you watch my last video, I say grease attracts dirt, dirt attracts failure. Alright, bevel. This thing was a pain in the dick to shim. Because the bearings on the fucking bevel gear were so loose that I had to prop the bearing up a couple millimeters of shims. You see how many shims I actually used on it. I don't like doing that, like, at all, because your shit shouldn't be doing that, like, at all, but whatever. Put the rest over there. We're all greased up. So, before I jump any further into this, I'm going to grab a motor and see if this thing actually turns. We press the contacts together. Yeah. We are in business. Next step, anti-reversal latch. These things, hate them. They're a necessary evil, but I fucking hate them. Here we go. We're almost there, ladies and germs. Almost. We just need to put the spring. And hope this thing doesn't murder me and my entire fucking family in about 30 seconds. I hate this fucking spring guide. I've wrestled with a lot of spring guides in my time. I'll tell you this right now. This G&P, worst one. Worst one. Sit, stay. Honestly, this thing went back together so smooth that I don't believe it's gonna work the first time. First thing I like to do before I even remotely think about putting this thing in a body is test all the springs. Nozzle return. The trigger's returning. Safe. Don't really need to do that, but everything works. We tested the motor already. The motor is fuego. So I'm going to put this all together and we're going to see what the hell goes on when I press this trigger. Alright. Moment of truth. Please. Oh. It's on 11.1 though. Ooh. 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 I gotta find the screws for this, but we are in business. I like that. Happy. It sounds good. Not as fast as I want it to be, but again, this is an old motor, an old build. It's not a high-speed build, but it's doing what it needs to do, and it's doing it well. And it feels like there's a lot of air coming out of it, so the air seal is fucking good. Let's put this thing back together and see if it shoots pretty good. And there you have it, folks. The G&P Skull Frog. Finally in working condition, after sitting in a closet for maybe like 4 years. But it's in working condition. If Anthony really wanted to take it out and play airsoft with it tomorrow, he definitely could. We are missing a few things, muzzle device, front pin, but I did find some screws for his motor grip there, and I found his stock and his parts, so we good. Want to thank you all for watching. You know, I really like doing this kind of stuff. Shout outs to people who actually watch the whole thing, because I want to do shout outs. I look forward to recording more of this stuff for you guys, and I really hope you guys like it because I like making it. Anywho, have a good night and safe viewing.